See that guy there? Dude in the leotard, high-fiving a little girl? That's me. My name is Dave Carroll, and I am Captain Kindness, and I'm a good friend of Aaron White's, and he wanted me to just make a quick video and tell you a little bit about what we do in Brantford. And yes, I am an adult male who dresses up in a leotard like a superhero, and I'll tell you how that happened. I mean, I hear you're going through 1 Corinthians 13, and you've got to the part where it says love is kind. And years ago, I went to Africa, and we were in Africa, and I was there going to try and help save the world. And I realized that a lot of the things that I saw in Africa, the kindness of people, we just didn't really have in North America. And I thought, well, that's ridiculous because God says that love is kind, and we should be the kindest people around. And you don't often see Canadians aren't necessarily cold to each other, but we're also not in each other's lives, and it takes its toll on us. And so we decided that we were going to, as a church, we planted a church in downtown Brantford, which was a downtown that was really falling apart, and there were a lot of addictions and a lot of crime and a lot of just things falling apart in downtown Brantford. And we bought an old bar right down in the middle of it, and we planted this church. And we decided that we were going to make kindness sort of it was the felt need of our culture. We were going to try and find different ways that we could go and be kind. And so what we did was we set up a barbecue on the street from 10 o'clock at night until 2 o'clock in the morning, right around all the bars and all the different issues that were in and around our neighborhood, because that's when people were out. And we started to give away free hot dogs in the middle of the night, and we just started shouting, "Hey, free burgers, free hot dogs!" just kind of randomly out into the midnight sky, and people started to come. People started to come week after week after week, and they started to go, "Well, what is your deal? What's your damage? Why are you out here in the middle of the night giving away free street meat?" And what it led to was some pretty meaningful discussions with people about their life, and you began to build trust with people and that kind of thing. And we started to do things like car washes. We called it our $1 car wash, where we would put up a sign that said $1 car wash, and cars would come in, and then they would pull in and pull out a loony as if they're going to go and get a car wash, and we would give them $1, and we say, "This is for the honor of serving you." And then their brains would blow up, and you'd have a discussion with them about how they could go ahead and serve their city, and it's like it just filled them up. That little dollar in a car wash said, "Oh, I gotta go do something now. I gotta go do something for somebody else." And so we started doing these kind of things. And then one year, the theme in our local Santa Claus parade was superheroes. And so almost as a joke, they on a whim, they dressed me up in a leotard and put me up on a flatbed truck, and all of a sudden Captain Kindness was born, and we won the award for the best float in the Santa Claus parade that year. And then I started to get calls and go, "Can Captain Kindness come to my school? Can Captain Kindness cut the ribbon on my fish and chip stand?" and all these different things. And I thought, oh my gosh, am I actually going to have to do this again? And it's like 7 years later, and this is me. This is me. We just spent a whole weekend doing Frosty Fest. It's inverted, but you'll get the point. It's a giant winter carnival in downtown Brantford where 15,000 people come to it, and we just simply put on a free carnival for the city. Captain Kindness, I go to elementary schools and that kind of deal. I talk to kids about how they can establish a culture of kindness in the classroom. But the truth is we do it not to put on giant events and do fun stuff like we did this. This was a kindness campaign where we actually knocked on people's doors and we said, "Hi, I'm Dave Carroll from the Kindness Project, and you might know me from such leotards as Captain Kindness." And then we would ask people if they would commit to being kind to their neighbors for a month. And we do these kind of novel things just to get people thinking about how they can be kind. I mean, kindness is just a small act of putting somebody else before you. And we do kind of big flamboyant stuff, but the real meaningful stuff ends up happening and you don't always see it. You don't always know if it's making an impact on people, because kindness is kind of like that. You don't really know what impact it makes on people until you have nights like I had a few years ago where we do the city of Brantford does movies in the square, where there's like they put up a big inflatable movie screen, and Captain Kindness goes over and runs this family party before the city, and we help the city show these movies. And so I have to walk from where our civic square is over to where our church is. and I got to walk in my big red leotard past a bunch of guys sitting on bar patios, and every time I go by, they start hooting and hollering, and you know what a normal human being would react to a dude in a leotard walking by. Anyway, so I'm walking by last summer, I believe, or either that or the summer before, and I hear this kind of drunk guy hollering, "Captain Kindness, Captain Kindness," and I mean, I've become known around town as Captain Kindness, and like even when I'm not wearing the leotard, people will walk by me and salute me and go, "Captain." It's a very very strange life I lead. It's why Aaron and I get along so very well. Anyway, so he starts yelling, "Captain Kindness, Captain Kindness," and he comes running to me, and I'm thinking, oh man, what is going on here? What is this guy going to say? And I go, "Hello, citizen," and in my biggest superhero voice. And he looked at me with just deadpan eyes, and he said, "I want you to know that this morning I was downtown and I saw somebody who was asking for help and didn't have any money for breakfast. And I thought, what would Captain Kindness do?" And he goes, "I want you to know that I took him out for breakfast and we sat for an hour. And I just saw you and I just wanted you to know." And I thought, that is incredible, because that's why we do this thing. We do it to be able to spur people to think about how they can go and be kind. Kindness truly actually is a transformational thing. I always tell kids and adults wherever I go, kindness changes things by good into good. Kindness can transform a classroom or a home or even the inside of us, and it's transformational because it works on the inside of us and it transforms other people. It helps melt even some of the coldest hearts. We've watched a simple hot dog bring wealthy business people nearly to tears because somebody was there, and it's not about the amount of the gesture, it's about the fact that it's something and people don't feel like anybody cares. And the stuff behind it is the stuff you're looking at in 1 Corinthians 13, how love is kind. Love is kind, and behind love is God. And so for me, I wouldn't do this just naturally. I mean, I'm crazy, but I'm not that crazy. For me, it is a way to show God's love in a practical way. In fact, when we do this, when we show these things, we call it rule number 2. It's inverted, but you'll get the idea of it. It says rule number 2 is love others, and rule number 1 is love God. And so for us, this is all a way to be able to show God's love in a practical way as we are loving God, because it's in His nature to be kind. So I hope that this is helpful for you. If you want to know more about my story, I'm sure Aaron would be happy to let you know. But I hope your study goes well, and take care, everybody.